On paper, the deal looked clean. A company called Sun Communities paid $2.11 billion for Safe Harbor Marinas in 2020. 138 marinas across the United States and Puerto Rico. 5 years later, Sun sold that same portfolio to Blackstone for $5.65 billion, more than double the purchase price. The docks did not change, the water did not change, the boats tied to those docks did not change. The only thing that changed was the number on the invoice the person at the slip received every month. That $5.65 billion price tag did not appear from thin air. It has to come from somewhere, and if you own a boat in America right now, it is coming from you. What's the most you've ever paid for a single year of keeping your boat in the water? Drop the number in the comments. Subscribe to Yachts and Boats, because every video on this channel follows the money the marine industry hopes you never trace. Blackstone is the largest alternative asset manager on the planet. Their infrastructure division bought Safe Harbor because a senior managing director named Heidi Boyd told investors that marinas benefit from long-term thematic tailwinds, including the growth of travel and leisure, as well as population inflows into coastal cities. Thematic tailwinds is Wall Street language for a captive customer who cannot leave. Your boat is in the water. Your slip has a wait list measured in years, not months. The nearest alternative marina raised its rates the same quarter yours did. And in Rhode Island, the nearest alternative marina is also owned by Safe Harbor. That is the structure Blackstone paid 21 times funds from operations to acquire, not 21 times revenue. 21 times the cash the marinas were already extracting from the people who used them. Industry analysts called the deal the moment marinas became an institutional asset class. They compared it to what happened to private aviation terminals a decade earlier. Small operators sold to private equity. Fees tripled inside 5 years. The people who could no longer afford the fees sold their aircraft. The terminal stayed full because the remaining customers paid anything. The same pattern is already spreading beyond Safe Harbor. In early 2026, MarineMax, the company that owns the ultra-luxury IGY Marinas network, became the target of a $1 billion takeover bid from private equity. Activist investors argued the marina assets were undervalued compared to the retail dealership business and pushed to split them off. The logic is identical to the Safe Harbor play. Strip the marina infrastructure out of the operating company. Reprice it as a standalone yield vehicle. Let the tenant absorb the difference. In July 2025, Safe Harbor acquired Monaco Marine, a network of yacht shipyards in France, signaling international expansion into the Mediterranean. The consolidation is not slowing down. It is accelerating across borders. The pattern has a name in finance: yield compression through tenant consolidation. In plain English, it means fewer people paying more money per person until the only ones left are the ones who never had to check the price. By late 2025, Safe Harbor tenants in Rhode Island reported slip fee increases of 12 to 15% in a single year. No improvements to the docks, no new amenities added, just a letter from a company whose headquarters sits on Park Avenue in Manhattan, informing them that the cost of parking their boat had increased by more than double the rate of inflation. One SailNet forum member described 15 years at the same marina. Zero loyalty discount. Rates now exceeding $200 per foot for the 6-month summer season, with mandatory winter storage on top, even for boats that sail south. The Marina Dock Age Annual Survey confirmed the trend is not limited to Safe Harbor. 84% of all US marinas reported rising costs in 2024. 70% raised slip fees. 60% raised service rates. 42% of marina operators said filling slips and booking rentals was their biggest challenge in 2025. They raised prices anyway. The slips that emptied did not stay empty for long. Boat clubs and corporate tenants filled them at full rate on multi-year contracts with none of the late payments or maintenance disputes that individual owners bring. The marina operator, who lost a 20-year tenant to a fee hike, replaced him within 90 days with a franchise that pays automatically. The incentive to retain the individual owner no longer exists. San Francisco proposed a 31.4% berthing fee increase at a single city marina, affecting 600 vessels. The department spokesperson said publicly that the city could not subsidize the marina any longer. 600 boat owners opened that letter on the same day. None of them were consulted before the number was set. A 40-foot slip at the Balboa Yacht Basin in Newport Beach, which is a public government-operated marina, costs $53.34 per foot per month. That is $25,603 per year for a single parking spot on the water, and that is the government rate, not the private equity rate. In New York City, seasonal slip fees range from $65 to $230 per foot. In southern Florida, wet slips at premium marinas run $30 to $50 per foot per month, with waitlists that stretch past 2 years. The slip FE is the line item every boat owner expects. The trap is that the slip fee is not even the largest number on the ledger. The industry rule of thumb, published by Bloomberg and confirmed by Bankrate, Boat Trader, and every marine surveyor who has ever done a pre-purchase inspection, is simple. Budget 10% of the boat's value every year for maintenance alone. A boat valued at $150,000 costs $15,000 per year before the owner touches the ignition. That is $1,250 a month in maintenance alone, paid whether the boat moves or not. For boats older than 10 years, that percentage climbs 25 to 80% higher. Parts corrode. Systems fail in sequence, not isolation. Yards charge a premium for every hour spent diagnosing problems the previous owner deferred, and the labor rate at a coastal boatyard now runs $60 to $100 per hour. The haul-out costs $30 to $83 per foot for bottom paint, plus $6 to $10 per foot for the lift and pressure wash, plus storage fees for every day the hull sits in the yard. A 35-foot sailboat, hauled once a year for bottom paint and inspection, costs $2,000 to $5,000. One California owner reported paying $1,926 for a single haul-out and bottom job on a 25-foot boat. Insurance runs 1 to 3% of hull value annually. A $150,000 boat costs $1,500 to $4,500 to insure depending on location, hull age, and operator history. And that number has a trapdoor built into it. Climate-driven storms have prompted half of all marine insurers to begin exiting the recreational market entirely. Boats in hurricane-prone states face a 25 to 50% surcharge on top of the base premium. Older boats, the ones priced low enough for a middle-class buyer, face mandatory marine surveys before the insurer will even issue a quote. Boats over 20 years old trigger automatic scrutiny from underwriters. Vessels over 25 years are flagged as high risk regardless of condition, regardless of how much the owner spent on restoration. First-time boat owners pay 10 to 20% more than experienced captains, which means the youngest and least wealthy buyers face the highest insurance costs on the oldest and cheapest boats. A 1988 sailboat in Florida now costs more to insure than a 2018 sailboat in Minnesota because the zip code carries catastrophe risk. The underwriter refuses to price. Safe Harbor requires proof of insurance as a condition of membership. If the insurer drops you, the marina drops you. The owner's options narrow to 3: pay a premium that approaches the boat's annual depreciation, go uninsured, and lose the slip, or sell. A diesel repower on a 30 to 45-foot sailboat runs $15,000 to $80,000, depending on the engine, the condition of the beds, and the age of the fuel system. Beta Marine, one of the largest replacement engine distributors in North America, estimates the average repower cost for a 28 to 34-foot sailboat at $7,000 to $12,000 for a basic swap. Fuel for a typical cruising sailboat runs $1,500 to $3,000 per year. Winter storage, commissioning, and decommissioning add another $2,000 to $4,000. Registration, safety equipment, electronics updates, rigging inspection, zinc replacements, and the line items nobody budgets for add another $1,000 to $3,000. Total the ledger for a $150,000 sailboat kept at a mid-tier coastal marina. Slip fees, $12,000. Maintenance at the 10% rule, $15,000. Insurance, $3,000. Haul-out and bottom paint, $3,500. Fuel, $2,000. Winter storage and commissioning, $3,000. Miscellaneous, $2,000. The total is $40,500 per year. Put it at a premium coastal marina and the slip fee alone pushes the total past $47,000. That number never appeared in the brochure. That total means a boat owner who uses the vessel 54 days per year, the NMMA's own published average, is paying $750 every single time the bow clears the dock. Freedom Boat Club, a Brunswick Corporation franchise with over 400 locations across North America, delivers a day on the water for roughly $300. No maintenance, no insurance, no 4 a.m. phone call from the marina telling you your bilge pump failed overnight. The club recorded 640,000 member trips in 2025, 5% growth year over year, the third consecutive year above 600,000. That number grew while boat ownership sales fell 8.8%. The market has already done the arithmetic. Is the ledger for your boat higher or lower than 47,000? Which line item hit you the hardest? This is where the numbers stop being an ownership problem and become an inheritance problem. The National Marine Manufacturers Association reported that new powerboat retail unit sales fell 9.1% in 2024, dropping to 231,576 units. They fell another 8.8% in 2025 to 215,237. 2 consecutive years of decline. Pontoon boats dropped 15.7%. Jet boats fell 20%. Wake sport boats declined 14%. Entry-level buyers took the worst hit across every segment. Frank Hugelmeyer, the president and CEO of NMMA, said the financial pressure landed hardest where financing costs have the greatest impact. Marine loan rates near 7% turned a $45,000 used sailboat into a $60,000 commitment before the owner paid for a single night at the dock. InfoLink Technologies published the number that defines the crisis. The median age of a current US boat owner is 60 years old. There are more boat owners in their 70s than in their 40s. Jack Ellis of InfoLink put it in a single sentence. Many of the people who owned boats 25 years ago are the same people who own boats today, but they are 25 years older. The fleet is not turning over. The owners are aging out, and nobody is replacing them at the price the market demands. In 1985, a shop teacher and a friend could split a Catalina 27 and keep it at a municipal marina for a few $100s a season. Insurance was optional, mechanics were local, and they charged rates that a weekend sailor could absorb. The haul-out was a weekend project with a borrowed trailer, not a $4,000 invoice from a boatyard running $60 an hour. The total annual cost fit inside a single paycheck. 61% of boat owners today earn less than $100,000 a year. That statistic proves the middle class is still in the marina, but it does not prove they can stay. That teacher's son looked at the same marina in 2026. The same Catalina, 40 years older, listed for $28,000 with $12,000 a year in carrying costs before he put fuel in the tank. He bought a kayak. Pre-owned boats made up 80% of all transactions in 2024. 859,000 used boats changed hands. But the ones that sold moved between people who already owned boats. They did not pass between generations. The ones that did not sell are still sitting at marinas across the country, for sale signs bleaching in the sun, engines past their service interval, bottom paint growing over. Owners hold firm on prices that reflect what they paid, not what the boat is worth with 10 years of deferred maintenance and an engine that needs a $15,000 overhaul. On the other side of that standoff, younger buyers look at the same boat and total the real cost. Purchase price plus the deferred work, plus the overhaul reserve, plus the insurance, plus the slip. They walk away. The industry's answer to the generational failure is not cheaper ownership. It is Freedom Boat Club, a subscription that eliminates the owner entirely and replaces him with a renter who never changes the oil, never learns the hull, and never teaches his daughter to tie a bowline at the dock on a Saturday morning. The boat club market is growing at 12.4% compound annual growth, projected to reach $2.47 billion by 2033. Ownership sales are contracting. Blackstone did not buy 138 marinas because it believes in boat ownership. It bought them because it believes in yield. Yield does not require an owner. Yield requires a slip that anyone is paying for. If the individual owner is priced out, the franchise fills the spot. The marina stays full, the fee goes up, the ledger does not lie, the dock is still there. The water is still there, the sky has not changed. But the system built around them has been repriced, one line item at a time, until the person who used to belong there can no longer afford to stay. And the industry that profits from his absence will never be the one to say it out loud. If this is the kind of reporting you want on your feed, subscribe to Yachts and Boats.